Now, the New York Times recently put out a piece talking about Donald Trump and his health and how he's having shorter days and he's resting more, pointing to signs in Donald Trump's health that there are problems, that he's not as healthy as he used to be. So Donald Trump, of course, had to take to Truth Social, and he had to hit back. Of course, saying it's the soon-to-full New York Times and it's the Democrats that are putting out this hit piece, and that, they're wrong. And of course, he goes, well, some days I do run out of steam, but it's not the time for me to, be done is not now. I'm certainly in good health. And this recently passed physical and the cognitive exam, which I aced, proves that. Once again, spotlighting the fact that back in October, he went to Walter Reed and he had an MRI. He had a second yearly physical and he took a cognitive test. Now, Donald Trump talks about it like it's some kind of IQ assessment or it's some kind of aptitude test. He's called it both things, but it's not. What he's talking about is the Montreal Cognitive Assessment. And that Montreal Cognitive Assessment is something you give people who you suspect of having a brain injury, maybe a stroke, dementia, something like that. And if you give it to them multiple times, and he has talked about taking it at multiple different points, going back even to his first term, that you try to get a baseline for where you're at compared to where you were, and are things getting better, worse, etc. And one of the questions in there is like draw a clock face, a typical analog clock face, and just they'll give you a time, and you try to draw it as close as you can and see how. It's not about drawing a perfect artistic clock. It's about how close to getting it right are you. Are the numbers roughly in the right spots? Or does everything bunched over to one side, or things like that. Donald Trump is not in good health, and he is spotlighting it because he can't let stories like this go. The New York Times comes out with a piece, and Donald Trump has to hit back. He's got to say, oh no, I'm in great shape, I'm in great shape. When we can see with our own eyes that he is not doing well. He's dragging his foot when he walks. There's videos of him getting out of a golf cart where it looks like the leg just kind of flops out of the golf cart. That is signs of somebody who has had maybe a stroke. It can be a sign. Not guaranteed, but you look at people who have had those situations and you see similar patterns and you go, well, maybe. Donald Trump is not in good health. I don't think he makes it to the end of his term. And he keeps bringing attention to the fact that he's not in good health, all while trying to change the narrative to make it seem like he is in the peak physical condition he believes.